up everyone, it's Sinistry, and today we are going to go over 8 different tips for Slime Rancher 2. Slime Rancher 2 just recently came out, so I wanted to help out newcomers to the series as well as people who played the first game but are just getting started with the second. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like Slime Rancher content, but now let's dive in. My first tip is to utilize wild slimes. Since the game is called Slime Rancher, a lot of people just tend to build up their ranch so quickly before they can really sustain it. This can of course lead to issues like having tars, having a bunch of really hungry slimes, just a lot of different issues. Don't make this mistake. Make sure to utilize wild slimes early in the game so you can build the infrastructure of your ranch really slowly and sustainably. You should definitely go around and collect the random plorts that you see all over the place outside of your ranch, and you should also feel free to feed the wild slimes. Plorts are used for all kinds of upgrades, and they're of course used for money, so definitely make sure to collect them as often as possible from the wild slimes. But now let's move on to tip number 2, which is to grow your ranch slowly. So here's the thing, it's really tempting to grow your ranch ASAP, just like I said in my last tip, but you really want to make sure that you grow it sustainably so that you don't run into issues. Honestly, if you grow your ranch too fast and you don't have like a silo, you don't have enough gardens, you don't have the high walls preventing your slimes from jumping out, you can very quickly run into issues, thus cutting your adventuring time short. I would definitely recommend that you grow slowly and steadily. Just bring on, 1 or 2 types of slimes at first. Don't try to bring on every single type. Make sure you have everything you need for those slimes. Make sure you have their corrals upgraded to the extent you need, and then you can start adding more. And of course, going back to tip number 1, you can utilize the wild slimes while you wait to build up your ranch, so you don't need to rush. Tip number 3 is in a similar vein. You want to focus on food early on in the game. In my opinion, feeding slimes is like 10 times easier in Slime Rancher 2 than it was in the original game. Food just seems a lot more abundant, so you don't really have to worry about scavenging quite as often. Nevertheless, I do kind of feel like it's a little bit harder to upgrade your ranch earlier on, which could just be me, but I would definitely say make sure that you have a silo, you have a couple gardens, you have plenty of hens and chickadees and all that good stuff. You should also maybe consider stockpiling your slime's favorite foods. That way you can always have them on hand and get double the plorts. And additionally, I would recommend getting the auto feeder before you start getting too many slimes. Again, do it slow and steady, but focus on getting the food for all of your different slimes. It's just going to help you to maintain your ranch for a lot longer while you go out to explore for longer periods of time. But with that being said, let's move on to our next tip, which is to beware the refinery link. Early on in Slime Rancher 2, you are going to encounter a refinery link that is in the first section of the game. This seems like a really cool idea, it gives you the ability to send plorts or other science materials to your refinery from farther away. Thus, it opens up a lot of your pocket space and you can put other items in there so you don't have to, constantly run back to your ranch. However, if you put plorts into the refinery link, you're not getting them back out because plorts that go into the refinery, you cannot withdraw. So don't make a mistake. Don't get all of the plorts at the very beginning of the game, throw them all in the refinery, and then think you can withdraw them and sell them. Because no, you're gonna be stuck and you're gonna be broke. Now, tip 5 is a bit of a different tip. I did tell you to build your ranch slow and steady, and I definitely stand by that, but I also think that you should upgrade your abilities before you upgrade your ranch too far. Abilities such as the jetpack or the harvester or even the upgraded power cores, they really help you as you go off to adventure in different areas. They'll help you to be able to do more in those areas, to experience different locations that you couldn't access, and really without all of these different abilities, you're kind of limited. So definitely make sure to upgrade at least some of the abilities really early on so you can get out of the loop of being in the same few areas and you can explore a lot more. And once you have your abilities upgraded, you can partake in tip number 6, which is to search everywhere. Okay, you can actually do this from the very beginning. You don't need all the fancy upgrades to search a lot of different locations, but nevertheless, you should definitely make sure to search everywhere possible no matter what abilities you have. There are a lot of hidden passageways, secret locations, all different kinds of things throughout Slime Rancher 2. If you see a path and it doesn't go clearly into the water, go follow it because you're probably gonna find something really cool, or at least you'll find a shortcut. But again, definitely be careful when searching if you're not upgraded, because you don't want to accidentally fall in the water, or you don't want to, waste your time trying to get to a location you can't get to. Now, while you're doing all this searching, it can be really easy to get lost. So tip number 7 is to use your map excessively. You might think it's really annoying to have to open up your map every couple seconds as you go down one path and you stop at a crossroads and you take a look at your map to see, am I still going in the right direction? However, if you don't do this, you will definitely get lost and you're going to spend much longer trying to work your way back. So at least for the beginning of the game, use your map, get used to it, explore where you're at, and really understand the different passageways, and eventually you'll get to learn them a lot easier. Also, the map marks different notable locations, such as the refinery link or different Gordos once you've found them. So it is really helpful to use throughout the game regardless. And finally, tip number 8 is to balance your exploration with your ranch management. Honestly, the game is about half and half. You might spend a little more time on ranch management if you're trying to build it up, or a little more on exploration before you build it up, but you don't want to neglect either aspect. Especially your slimes on your ranch. You do not want to neglect them. They will just run rampant and cause so many different issues, so make sure to go back and don't just explore for like days on end. Also, if you notice that you're spending days on your ranch just doing menial tasks, you probably need to buy more infrastructure. That's what I was talking about when I said don't upgrade the ranch too quickly, don't add too many slimes too quickly, because if you don't have the infrastructure, you'll just spend a lot of time on your ranch without needing to. But really, overall, you shouldn't get overworked if you just follow my tips. You should be able to balance both of these aspects if you just listen to my other advice. And really, don't be afraid to spend a day only at the ranch or a day only away from the ranch. It's not going to hurt your slimes, it's not going to hurt your gameplay. Just if you notice you're a little too heavy on one or the other, it probably means you need to spend a little more time on the opposite. But anyway, that is everything I had for Slime Rancher 2 for today. Do you have any tips for the game that I didn't mention? Make sure to let me know in the comments down below. And again, make sure to like and subscribe if you like casual game content, including Slime Rancher 2. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.